internationally. And we have made it very clear that some of the negatives against Cuba were certainly not correct in our view.
One of the high points or standing monuments of the relationship between St. George's and Havana over the past 35 years has been the Maurice Bishop International Airport. Cuban workers toiled side by side with Grenadians in the preliminary phase of construction. During the renaming ceremony a few years ago, Cuba's role in its development was highly recognized.
So I came on December the 5th.
Día del Constructor.
That was the Construction Worker Day.
Vine aquí con una delegación a entregarle una bandera de vanguardia al contingente que trabajaba aquí conjuntamente con los hermanos granadinos.
With a delegation to present a flag as vanguard to the contingent that was working in construction here with the Grenadian brothers and sisters.
Despite the fact that Cuba is a poor third world country, at least you can see a monument to that relationship that existed between Grenada and Cuba over the years, which is the Maurice Bishop International Airport.
You know, remember President Reagan said we were building a military base. There was a submarine base under the airport. There was a whole propaganda onslaught on Grenada, supported by people like Eugenia Charles and Tom Adams in Barbados, who did not want us to have an international airport. And we persevered. We built the international airport despite all of this pressure.
Had it not been for Cuba's support, there's no way the PRG could have even started to build an international airport in Grenada. And today we are benefiting from that tremendously so.
By all accounts, and given the history of ties between Cuba and Grenada, both countries remain solid allies, a pact expected to grow from strength to strength in the years ahead.
I would certainly want to see Cuba as an important member of the CARICOM family. Unfortunately, because of that whole situation with the blockade and other issues internationally, Cuba has not been at the table of CARICOM as an equal partner. And I believe that not only she should be able to come as observer at CARICOM meeting, but she should be a full member of the CARICOM family.
We will continue to develop our collaboration. We will continue to strengthen our bilateral relations. We have a lot of fields that we can develop, and Grenada can always count with the support of Cuba, with the resources that we can offer.
Whatever Cuba has, the little they have, they continue to share it. And I don't think that will ever change anytime in the future.
This is the Grenadian reality. This is our current state of affairs. Torment and torture reached a new high for a St. John's woman who lost her house and all of her personal belongings to a raging fire recently. Psychological pain worsened since this tragedy follows the loss of her grandchildren earlier this year. But Stella Smith is tough, and with a little help, she's trying to bounce back from her unfair hand that she was dealt. Abigail McIntyre reports on a die-hard superwoman from Grenada's fishing mecca. This week, State of Affairs takes you to the heart of the city that never sleeps, Guelph, nestled along the coastline of the parish St. John. We're standing at the end of Edward Street, where ashes now lay from the homes of 5 families whose lives were turned upside down from a major fire on the night of March 8. State of Affairs tells you the story of one woman whose life was severely affected by this unfortunate mishap. We tell you the story of Stella Smith.
That Saturday night, I tell them children that everybody going to church on Sunday morning, so let's go to bed. After I done watch Kung Fu on GBN, we went to lie down. In the short space of time, when my son come to lie down, he jump up. So I asked him, I said, what happened there? And he run out outside, so I get up from inside the room. When I come out, I see fire, so I go to the kitchen and I take a wash pan trying to heat water on the other house what burning. And then my other daughter had to, when the fire got too rapid, we couldn't make it again. My other daughter, our going St. Rose, had to take them children and pass them out, my grandchildren, pass them out through the window. What happened after that? Well, the fire gets more rapid, everything burned down. The only thing I could have just say, just trust God, He knows best.
It may seem that Stella Smith's story couldn't get any worse, that watching your house and all your life's collections go up in flames is the absolute end of the rope for any one person. But for this quiet woman, her story of loss and disappointment started way before this dreadful fire on the night of March 8.
When my first daughter had passed away, it was Camille Smith. She went and make a baby. And she had problems, they say high pressure and things, so them they caught her. She died, the baby survived. So I have when the baby was 3 days old, they give me the baby to me, a little girl. And then in the space of a year time, my next daughter, Lornette Walker, she was pregnant, going through some difficulties. And on the way to hospital, well, when I reached down in the hospital, the doctor said that she had collapsed, and she ended up, they revised her. She talked before she died. She died, the baby died this time.
Pearson Stroud is a certified psychologist who assisted by counseling the fire victims after the event. He is familiar with the struggles of Miss Smith.
Not only is she going to be experiencing the psychological issues in terms of related to loss, but there is going to be significant trauma that she will be undergoing. And that speaks to the fact that it is compounded. Not you had loss as a result of death and compounded by the fire, loss of home, loss of stability. In my opinion, a lot for one person to have to bear.
Stroud believes Miss Smith may be experiencing a range of emotions, but even so can function normally, a mask maybe to hide her pain.
I might be actually going through that and could come to work because I may have taught myself over a period of time, it has been a pattern of mine to be able to suppress things. If I am that type of person, maybe I might be able to come to work and function. For how long? I don't know. Because I think if someone experiences that much trauma, in my opinion, the body will eventually begin to react.
The Grenada government left no stone unturned in providing immediate relief and assistance to the 8 families affected by the fire. In fact, on the night of the incident, Parliamentary Representative for St. John, the Honourable Alvin Dabrio, rushed onto the scene. Then a 4-member delegation of government ministers as well as emergency responders from the National Disaster Management Agency met with the families to assess their needs.
We listened to them and we were able to assess the situation, able to provide immediately those who needed medication, those who needed other necessary and basic supplies. We were able to do that. And the plan in motion was set then as it relates to ensuring that the lives of those families would be adequately addressed.
We visited the scene and immediately we had some basic relief items to the fire victims. Basic foodstuff, blankets, regular household items.
Government also set up a special committee to guide the restoration process for the families affected by the Guelph fire. Motorcades were held, an account was opened at one of the local banks for people to make monetary contributions, and a benefit concert was held.
We are able to date to our records indicate approximately a little over $14,000 that we will be providing back to the folks in Guelph. We saw an opportunity where we could have used entertainment as a means of raising some funds for the people.
As far as supplies is concerned, the Catholic Church in Guelph is the designated area that we have as a storage point for, because they doesn't have a house as yet to keep this stuff. And we also have the committee also is working on the
construction phase.
What we have been able to ascertain from the families, the lands is freehold, so they own the lands, and we have about 3 of the 5 wanting to go back in the same area, and I think it's 2 of them want to go elsewhere. So all those information has been collated, and we are now moving towards that, and that is the bottom line, to ensure that those homes have been rebuilt, they're furnished, and the people can enjoy themselves.
We get help from the community for schools, the teachers in schools and other people, they support well.
Apart from the physical support, Mr. Pearson Stroud believes emotional support for Stella and other victims is necessary.
Treatment is something that will be really important, and enough time to do some really in-depth and intense treatment, especially earlier on, will be really important in terms of counseling and that type of situation.
Yes, but God is good, and I trust Him, and He is who keeping me.
Abigail McIntyre for State of Affairs.
Determined to give you a clearer picture, this is State of Affairs. And finally, it's time for rebuttal. Every week right here, we seek to debunk a myth or to update on a reality. This week, the myth about the Teachers Union president not knowing details about the homegrown program, and then the reality. First, the myth. Teachers Union President Lydon Lewis claims the unions know nothing about the homegrown program. He said in the media, quote, "How could we support a program that we don't know about?" unquote. The reality is the Teachers Union is a member of the Social Partners Platform, which has been meeting monthly with the Prime Minister discussing such national issues. The Social Partners, which involve government, have even formed a committee to monitor the implementation of the program. The committee will receive and review monthly reports from the Ministry of Finance on performance criteria and benchmarks. It will assist government to achieve agreed targets and benchmarks, as well as recommend corrective actions as deemed necessary. The monitoring committee will also issue a communiqué after each meeting on its findings and recommendations. And that's our picture this week from the home front. This is the current state of affairs. As we speak, our reporters and producers are gathering more stories from across Grenada. We'll be back here next week to share them with you. I am Tahira Natalie Carter.